So we will start on time, right?
Yeah, you can go ahead. I'm recording.
Okay, yes. Well, let me share the screen first. Sorry about that. No. I have so many windows opened. Let me introduce. Okay, officially we're started. Welcome to this Zoom meeting. And this Zoom meeting is by Nebraska Department of Education, World Languages, and the CLTA US SEEK K-12 in Omaha Public School. So this is a spring guest speaker series. And our topic today, let me introduce the presenter today. Okay. Dr. Arthur Chou is a social entrepreneur. He advocates the biliteracy and dual language school movement to promote education equity for English learner students, encourage multilingualism, prepare every student to become a global citizen. Arthur Chou is the founder and managing director for Academic Learning Company, LLC, which operate sealofbiliteracy.com, duallanguageschool.org, and I hope I can pronounce it well, okay? Press. Arthur was helped more than 30 states establishing their state seal of biliteracy and build an online community for dual language school educators, parents, and administrators. He's the publisher of Biliteracy Press, which published the oldest and the largest Spanish and English dictionary based on the United States. Biliteracy Press is the eminent authority of academic language and authentic biliteracy, and has sponsored 30,000 plus biliteracy recognition medals for the Seal of Biliteracy movement. Arthur backpacked in South America in his 20s and learned Spanish during his travels. Besides Spanish and English, Arthur speaks 4 other languages, pretty awesome, and has traveled all 50 states and 50 plus countries, more than 50 countries. Okay, so here is the title, Seal of Biliteracy and the Future of Multilingualism. And I will stop sharing. Dr. Arthur Chou, would you please start your presentation? Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Do I need to share my screen? It's already there.
It's not there. You need to share it.
Thank you. Yeah. Let me share my screen first. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Arthur Chou. I have day job. My day job, as you can see my description, I'm a publisher. Chinese guy published Spanish books, but that's my day job. But 15 years ago, I get involved in this grassroots movement. It's called the Seal Biliteracy. I'm a founder, we call the ESL Bilingual World. Back then in California, we passed this proposition called Proposition 227, which abolished bilingual education. What I mean here is that if you're a student from another country, migrate to this country, to the United States, you cannot speak any other language but English. And that's a problem for a lot of students like us, or the student we serve that loves the heritage language, and we want to change that. And because the way we pass the law in California is through proposition. The only way we can repeal that proposition is through the people voting out again. So the whole grassroots movement started because we want to make the difference. We want to make sure that our students, our kids, not only learning English, also keep the heritage language, Spanish, Chinese, whatever the language they speak at home. We want them to learn to speak, listen, read, and write at the same time. So that became a critical mission for us, for me, and for a lot of people like us in the community, support the Seal Biliteracy movement. So thank you for joining us today. Hopefully by the end of the day, we'll learn a lot more about what is the seal biliteracy and what does that mean to your students and what does that mean for multilingualism in the United States. The first thing I want to share with you, and maybe we'll go through this couple common questions people ask me about the seal biliteracy. I'm in this movement for a while, so I know I sometimes blindsided by people asking the question here, and there's certain misconception. So I would like to, you ask yourself these following questions. First thing here, first question you should ask is the seal of biliteracy is an assessment of language proficiency. Think about that, and you don't have to share the answer for me, but just think about that. Okay, the second question here is the seal biliteracy is for world language student only. The third question I like to ask you is that, is the seal biliteracy has a similar requirement for every state? And the fourth question I propose today, and would love you to answer that at the end of the presentation, is that the student applied the seal biliteracy at our website, sealbiliteracy.org. I can tell you, especially right now, springtime, I got 20, 30 phone calls from a student every day, ask me about applying the seal biliteracy. Trevor's crazy. We don't have the capacity, but we got phone call almost every day, 20, 30 phone call about the seal biliteracy. Hopefully, after this presentation, we can answer your questions, and hopefully you can help us join this grassroots movement, helping more students become bilingual. So what is the seal biliteracy? And the seal biliteracy is an award given by a school district, or state in recognition of students who have studied and attained proficiency in 2 or more languages by high school graduation. And it is a seal that the school put on the student's diploma, and it's an official document, and many students use that for future school, college application, or their career, right? To showcase that they're really bilingual, and not only bilingual, biliterate, which means you have to speak, listen, read, and write. And our vision is to help students recognize the value of their academic success and see the tangible benefit of being bilingual. I came to this country in the 80s, right? Back then, I remember bilingual is not necessarily a positive word. Sometimes you can have some negative connotation. And our goal is through the government recognition. We want to recognize being bilingual or biliterate as a smart thing, it's a good thing. And you want to have that, right? So that's something we're trying to accomplish. So what's a seal biliteracy? I want to share a story with you. I always share the story. This story probably happened 6, 7 years ago now. I'm giving out the speech all these years, and this is the story I like to start my opening. So in Walthamstow, England, this is a suburb in London. Lots of immigrants, right? The people from all over the world go to London, start a new life. I guess somebody tired of all this new different people, language speak in the community. So in the town center, somebody graffiti the wall saying, "Speak English." And I think you probably similar experience you probably heard people say that, in your neighbor, in your city, in your town, you probably people talk about, "Hey, this is an American speak English." But the people in Walthamstow, England, think about this is graffiti. First, this is graffiti. The second thing here, this is insulting us, right? What do we need to do? I mean, how do we correct this problem? So they have a meeting. Some people gather together. Some people say, "You know what? Easy, just penny over, big deal." But some people say, "This is such a negative energy. We're going to make it better, right? What can we do?" So people say, "Let's make fun of it. Let's put the word S in front of English, speak Spanglish." So that's one proposal. Some people say, "Let's grow the tree. Let's not forget about the history of this town. So let's grow the tree, cover that, but we don't erase that part of the history, right?" They really want to make a statement of this. So an artist show up. is that why don't we make it more why do we just write on what the committee speak, right? We speak Punjabi, we speak Polish, English, Urdu, and if you look all the way, we speak Cockney, which is an accent in England, right? That's spirits. And if you ask me what's a seal Biliteracy, of course I give the official statement, and this is a word, blah, 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 I mentioned earlier. But what's a seal Biliteracy? It's about a celebration for multilingualism. And this is American. America is a multilingual, multicultural country, right? We want to celebrate our diversity. And that's what seal of Biliteracy is about, right? So normally I can explain to me, well, how do you get seal Biliteracy? How does the state get a seal Biliteracy? We're very lucky. I mean, we started this movement 12, 13 years ago, and we have 49 paths, which I show you the data later on. But normally the 3 ways state establish the seal Biliteracy. First way, and most state, at least at the early stage, we establish the seal Biliteracy through legislation process. My state, California, New York, Georgia, and I will put the non-Georgia with the asterisk point, because most often we pass the legislation, we go to education committee to pass this law, right? Because it's endorsement from your state, give out the seal, put on the diploma, it's an official document, right? So generally speaking, this is educational policy, we go to education committee. But in the state of Georgia, when we approached the education committee with a House member, they replied to us and said, we are English only state. We don't do multilingualism. So what did we do? This is a while ago. We actually went to the Commerce Committee, because in the state of Georgia, there are many multinational company like UPS, Delta Airline, they need multilingual workforce. So we actually get the support. We passed the legislation through the Commerce Committee, not Education Committee. So this is the most common way. And if it's possible, we like to go through this route, because once in the legislation process, it's on the book. It's more difficult to change that. It has more permanent impact. And the second way we can do that is through the school board education. And not every state have a state school board, but in the state have a state school board. We normally talk to the state school board member, approach them, explain to them what's the benefit of multilingualism, why this is important, and they pass the state board code, the rule in the meeting. They pass resolution, make it become an education code, and they implement it through that. So state of Oregon went through that route. Another route, this is an interesting story. Another way is through Department of Education. So this is another interesting story I want to share with you. And the state of Missouri, I believe 5 years ago, if you remember, that Amazon was looking for a second headquarters. You know, they are based in Seattle. They're looking for another place to start a second headquarters. Of course, for the state, that means more job. Right? Who doesn't want more job in their state? The state of Missouri, with the 2 biggest cities, Kansas City and St. Louis, came to us, say, hey, we want to get Amazon to our state, but we know we're a Midwest state, right? We are probably not as international as like New York or DC or Chicago. So what do? Maybe we can showcase we have that workforce. Let's start the state seal Biliteracy. And because the timing is such a short time, we're trying to do the legislation route, but because Amazon they doesn't give a lot of time to pass legislation. Just so you know, legislation, it takes about from 1 to 2 years to 6, 7 years. And we just passed Alabama last year. It takes us 5 years to make that happen. Same thing with the Massachusetts. That takes a long time. But through Department of Education policy, will go faster. So state of Missouri Department of Education decided to go through the policy, establish a policy for seal Biliteracy handbook. From there, they implement the seal Biliteracy. And I believe the state of Nebraska is through the Department of Education, established the seal Biliteracy there. So a little bit history of the seal Biliteracy. I mentioned earlier, in 1998, California, the people, my state, California, has this strange law that people can vote to establish legislation to build a law. So in 1998, California, my state, passed this Proposition 227. And this proposition basically abolished bilingual education. What does that mean? That means students go to school can only use English to learn. So if you're from another country, you know what, you go to 1 year to 2 year immersion program, you learn English first, then you learn the content area. And we don't have to understand, students go to school not just learn language, they got to learn math, science, social study, right? This is very discriminatory policy. And very unfortunately, when California passed this one, other states follow, Massachusetts and Arizona. You know, they passed a similar proposition because those states allowed the similar proposition. And so after we passed the Proposition 227 in California, a group of educators gathered together. We're trying to form this organization called Californians Together. The key goal here is that how do we get people in California vote against 227? We need to introduce a new proposition to repeal the Proposition 227. And the one thing we learned that through the Proposition 227 is that a lot of Spanish-speaking parents or immigrant family, those parents vote for 227. In their mind, they say, you know what, I'm being discriminated in this country because I don't speak English, right? I want my kids to learn English. So I don't want school to teach them bilingual education or teach Spanish. They can learn Spanish at home. So that was a big, huge problem back then in the 90s, right? And the politics here are very different than today. And today, we passed a 50A 6 years ago, totally repealed that. But we need aggressive movement to help parents understand the power to be bilingual. You want to learn English, but you need to keep your heritage language, whether it's Chinese, Spanish, Arabic, and I will show you later on what language do we have. So our group, Californians Together, are looking around to see what can we do to make the difference, right? And then we look at that time. There's a neighbor school district in LA called Glendale Unified School District. That name sounds familiar to you. You probably heard of that, but you don't know where they come from. That's actually where the Kardashian family, if you ever watched that show, Kardashian, they are from Glendale. Lots of Armenian, right? They speak Armenian in that school district. So the parents there say, hey, the 227 won't let us have bilingual education, but let's do after school program. We want to teach our kids Armenian. And we want this district to honor our kids to be bilingual. So this we started this thing called Bilingual Competency Award. And the whole idea is to help students who can speak, read, learn, and listen in Armenian and English get a award from the school district. That's the start inspiration for the whole Zero Biliteracy movement. We say, wow, that's what we wanted to do. And Californians Together started to develop this concept. At that time, my day job as I work at the Velasquez Express, and we work with Californians Together. We established the website called zerobiliteracy.org. This has really changed our company mission. This is like we find ourselves, almost everyone in our office are ESL students. We speak 2 languages at our office. This is what we believe, right? And we changed our publishing program to really focus on this mission we believe. And we went through the process in California, passed the legislation. We established the first state with the Zero Biliteracy in 2012. Then the next step, established Zero Biliteracy is the state of Texas. Although through lots of challenge we have to reintroduce the legislation again this year, hopefully to correct the problem we have early on. Illinois is the 3rd state. In 2015, Act for NABE-TESOL, necessitable build the guideline to implement the Zero Biliteracy. In the year 2040, about 3 years ago, 40 states established the Zero Biliteracy, and we relaunched the National Zero Biliteracy Guideline, the 2nd edition. It's at our website, zerobiliteracy.org. Welcome to look at that. There's a little bit different between the 1st edition and the 2nd revision. Especially we focus a lot on equity. We'd love you to take a look, give us some of your feedback. So when I did this presentation, I just want to show you the map because the map is very visual, right? This is 2017, 5 years ago, 6 years ago now. I'm sorry, 2023 now. This is the map we have on our website. You can see the dark blue are the one with the seal barriers. You see Nebraska is white back then. I think I then was working with Stephanie Cole trying to figure out what we can do. And you can see the surrounding states are white. The green one, the greenish one, the teal color is the one trying to reduce the bill, but they're still working on that. The white one is nothing happening. The yellow, orange-ish one is the one they trying to do something, which we're gonna work with them, but we don't have the seal barriers yet. And this is 2021, barely 2 years ago. You can see that almost every state has it, right? There's some mostly a blue now, some dark green. There's no white anymore, right? We work with almost every state. And last year, June, and we one left, South Dakota. And I need your help. If you have any friends in South Dakota, please do me a favor. This is your neighbor state. Please, can you help me to call them? Tell them they want to seal Biliteracy. I'm speaking here today to ask your help, okay? If you know anyone from South Dakota, please call them. They are dragging the whole United States. One state, all 50 states will have the seal Biliteracy. So if you know anybody there, please let us know. We need their help to make the last state with the seal Biliteracy. And in my organization, sealbiliteracy.org, we publish an annual report. We ask every state 3 simple questions so we can report like what's the progress for the seal Biliteracy nationwide. So we ask 3 simple questions. How many students receive the seal Biliteracy, right? We want to know every state. Second question is that what languages did you award, right? And the third question here is how many English learner or former English learner received the seal Biliteracy? And this is very simple questions, but very often we cannot get the answer. I think there's always some challenge, especially the third question here, because the state system does not code these students. They don't know how many, especially former EL students, English learner students receive the seal Biliteracy. And I want to show you the number here. This report we published 2021 is 2020 National Seal Biliteracy Report for 2018-2019. There's always 3-year lags when state report the numbers. It's just how the state works. Some state they can get the number right away. Some state take forever to get the numbers. And back then, there's about 39 states have the seal. Only 32 state report the number because somebody on the first day they can't have that. So at that time, totally 33,128 students, former EL students got the seal Biliteracy with almost 100,000 students got the seals. And Washington State have the seal Biliteracy in most languages, 69 languages. French, German, Spanish are the 3 most popular languages, followed by Chinese, Arabic, Japanese, Russian, and Korean. And to prove English proficiency, this is important for English learner. They have to pass the ELD assessment. And I think Nebraska might be either Weed State or ELPA 21. I don't remember, but they ELPA 21, right? They have to pass that. ELPA, okay, yeah, wonderful. And if you see this is the following year, we have how many languages? 119 languages. Think about typical world language. You want to teach what? Spanish, maybe Chinese, French, right? Maybe something Italian or German. But there's 119 language represented here. That's something we're very proud of. You know, the seal Biliteracy movement is for everyone, especially for the immigrant family. You have students who maybe in the family speak a different language. We want them to acquire the second language. And these are the potential students who will go to the world language class in high school if they could. Or we even would love to start the language program if you could. You know, recently I just read Somali dual language program in Minnesota. Such a beautiful thing, you know, honor the heritage language and learn English at the same time. That's what we're working for. And you can see our full report at our website. Here's the URL. If you go to sealbiliteracy.org, just look for the research. We publish an annual report. And we also publish lots of research. If anyone go to AERA, we are in AERA this year in Chicago. We'll work with a different researcher trying to find out latest the research. How does the seal biliteracy or how multilingualism benefit the community? Is any question I can answer? I speak really fast, I know. Sometimes I gotta look at my time. So something
No,
I could do. Yes,
just maybe adding that link into the chat. I don't have it, but
yeah, if you want to, you can put that in the chat, please.
I can't put it myself.
Oh, okay, let me see, I can do
Sorry.
that. Let me see, I can do that here. Oh, hold on.
May I have a question?
Yes,
And for my students, if right now they apply, so is still can do it or not?
which state are you coming from? Which state?
I'm assuming Nebraska.
Okay. I think you can apply, and this is a question I think your state need to answer. So Crystal probably can give you the answer. Generally speaking, this is the time people apply the seal biliteracy. Generally speaking, this is the time to do the assessment, and you submit the data to the state. Generally speaking, again, in April or May. If you see earlier, every state have different rule, right? If Nebraska, I think Crystal can give you more information. What's the deadline to submit that?
Yeah, the deadline, we actually have 3 rounds. The spring one is, the deadline for spring round is April 1st. We have our summer round is August 1st, and we have our like a winter round at November 1st. So 3 rounds each year. So if students can submit their learning, we call it learning evidence, proficiency evidence is for English and for another language, then they can apply.
Okay.
And I just put in the chat, I put the website for the Nebraska Department of Education for information on the Nebraska Seal of Biliteracy and how to apply. I just put it in the chat.
Oh, I'm coming from California. I'm a California. I just wanted to know is then good.
California, definitely you can do that. If you email me later, my email's in the back. I can connect you with the people in California.
Okay. Thank you.
So normally, the California Department of Education has a website. We'll have the form. In California, we give us something called insignia, and you can apply in insignia. Is there any other question? So I'll move to the next slides.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good luck. So today, I really want to talk about the future of multilingualism, or what's the sixth trend of the state seal biliteracy. What does that mean? And what we as a grassroots organizer, what we love to see what we can do, right? And I'd love to hear, maybe you can give me some feedback, what else we can do. This is both way. Again, this is a grassroots movement. Everybody's involved. You're part of it. You're at this webinar today. You are part of our grassroots member now. We'll all go toward this mission to make the difference here, right? So the first trend is biliteracy pathway award. I know in Nebraska right now we don't have that yet. California, we have that in official. We go through a lot of slides. This is one I will spend a little bit more time to talk about this. The reason being that I really want to help every state build that. Right now, only California has an official pathway award, but this is really easy to do. And this actually help more teachers to get more job opportunity, not just high school, but elementary school, middle school. We really want to encourage more schools start dual language program from very young level, right? The bilingualism shouldn't start high school too late. You got to start the younger, the better, preschool, right? Or even kindergarten. That's what we hope for. So the Pathway Award is used to help community to view bilingualism as an asset. And then we focus a lot on celebration. So in the high school, seal biliteracy, and the goal here is to prove your proficiency, right? So when you apply for college, you get credit, or when you apply the job, you can showcase you're really bilingual, biliterate. But for Pathway Award, we really want to focus on celebration, bring people to understand the power of being bilingual. And we have what we call preschool. People ask me, why you have preschool? And I explain to you why. Because you know what? You want to encourage people to be bilingual. You want to be your Spanish Chinese parents to go to your dual language program. You got to start preschool. We start the preschool pathway award. We do celebration. What's the benefit of being bilingual, right? And what's the in elementary school, we have what we call the antenna award. In middle school, we have service participation award. There's so many different ways you can bring parents understand the power of being bilingual. Again, we ain't in school, right? The only way we can build this dual language program, one language program, is more students participate, right? In elementary school, it's really parents send the kids to dual language program. The more parents send the kids to dual language program, the more bilingual dual language program we can have, right? So this pathway award is established to help school to think about that. How do I get more dual language program students to participate? Okay, so the purpose of preschool pathway award to become bilingual is really focused on the preschool graduation. And I can tell you, I went to the oldest Chinese student program in LA. They did a celebration. So I forgot to put the video on the slide. Sometimes I have probably embedded the video. They literally just has a preschool program. They got the grant from the Star Talk program. That's another funding resource you look into. The Defense Department really wants to make sure more kids to be bilingual, right? So they have Star Talk funding, and this school in LA has a Star Talk program. And at preschool, they did a celebration. Basically, they taught kids in Chinese and English. They have the pedagogy to help kids being bilingual, and they bring their parents in here. They do the dance, the Chinese dance, and showcase power. Why it's so good to be bilingual. A lot of parents think, this is interesting, I kind of find out, a lot of parents think, wow, my kids can speak Chinese in school and they teach Chinese. Getting excited, so they want to send the kids to dual language program, right? So this is really the preschool activity is affirming the value of being bilingualism. I really want to emphasize one thing. Bilingual is 2 or more languages, right? You learn English, you also learn Chinese or Spanish or German or Italian, French. That's the whole idea. And we also want to help parents to support the dual language program. We kind of find out a lot of schools use the preschool program to make sure they enroll those parents to the dual language classroom. And every community is different. Some community have a long waiting list to get into the dual language program. But if you start a new dual language program, have a Biliteracy pathway award will really help you to get more parents enrolled to the dual language program and make it become very, very popular. We test this in California. It works really wonderfully. And we get community involved. We have even media come here to talk to the principal about the program. So if you want to recruit dual language program, this is a really good tool for you to think about. In the elementary bilingual program, it's a little bit different. We have 2 different kinds. Middle school, high school, elementary, middle school are similar. Unlike high school, with focus on assessment, focus on proficiency, in the English part, in the elementary school, we still want to make sure the kids achieve certain English proficiency level. Don't get me wrong, that's still very, very important to learn English. But we also want them to have, keep the heritage language, understand the positive attitude, what's important to be bilingual, right? So we have a lot of activity. So for example, in elementary school, they're very young, they can't do much. So we wanted to see, hey, can you read the books with your parents? And they count, your parent read 40 books with the kids in Spanish or in Chinese, and they get to see Biliteracy. The pathway award, this is pathway, right? The whole idea, embedded family engagement activity, the parent read the kids, and at the end, kids do the article about what they learn, and they can write or speak in Spanish. Because at the young age level, they probably don't have writing ability. So they will actually do an oral presentation about what's important to be learning Chinese or Spanish, right? That's something very important for them. And the award, strategically, we often encourage school to do the dual language, do this award at the end of 2nd grade or the end of 3rd grade. For the reason being that, especially during school, at the 3rd grade, when they start doing the testing, you see some attrition. right? Some Durham students left the program. So we really encourage those schools start the program at the 2nd or 3rd grade. And of course, at the end of the elementary school, the 5th or 6th grade, you do the celebration. And that's something very common we have seen. The attainment award is different than the first one, right? It has more, and this is California rule. Okay, I'm using California example because we do have this in California. They have a little bit higher language proficiency level required, right? And they want to write. We want the kids to write the paper, and this is preparing in the 5th grade or 4th grade level, and they need to have certain rubric score 4 or 5. Oh, this example, if you want to go to our website, sealbyrish.org, we have a lot of sample letter document. You can take a look. How do you do that? There's a lot of story, a picture, you can take a look. That will help you to get a seal by RSC. And we want to do, remember that seal by RSC is 4 domains: speaking, listening, reading, and writing. So we want to make sure they present all 4. Very often for a heritage speaker, they can speak listening, but really want to develop the reading and writing skill set. This is particularly difficult for Chinese kids. I know a lot of Asian kids, Chinese, Korean, Japanese, and I believe Jewish schools, same thing. They can speak, listen well. Reading and writing, like Hebrew, Indian language have a similar problem because different script, and they have challenge. This is a good time for them to think about how can we help them to develop the reading and writing skill set. And in middle school, they're a little bit older now, right? They're not elementary school. So we actually want to do service and participation award. So I can give you many examples here right now. They can go to volunteer. I mean, the whole idea for this award is right, they can use the language, create a positive impact to the community. So they can go to, of course, they still have the writing the asset like we showcase here right now, but really wanted to go to the local community to showcase the ability of while they're bilingual. They can volunteer in the local community, in senior center, helping, helping senior citizen using a language skill set, right? Oh, they can do the interview the local community, find out what's the benefit of being bilingual. They write an article about that. So there are many other ways you can get the seal by RSC. Again, the Pathway Award is not state officially, so you can craft any way you want it. All these examples are at our website. You can take a look. And I always want to make sure, do not forget about the English part. Okay, English proficiency still need to be there. This is especially important for English learning students. And we have seen schools using this as an incentive to help them reclassify the students. It really depends on, for a world English teacher, you probably don't care much about it. For a multilingual director, bilingual director, ESL director, reclassification is important. So this is a good tool for them to embed that, to help them to do that. And of course, I'm showcasing, this is a California law. I want to showcase California rule. We passed this, we didn't pass the law, we established this one in 2011 in September as the first day. And this can be a blueprint. And I guess we have some people come from California, but if you're in Nebraska, you don't have it, right? You can actually establish that in your own school district if you wanted to. Follow the same guideline, the whole idea, it's a celebration. Don't make it too serious. Well, we see they do in Chicago. I'll share the picture later on. Embedding that in many different ways, embedding as a family engagement activity, embedding that as a way to celebrate multilingualism, embedding that as a recruiting tool to make sure those kids staying in your FLAX program, your Durham program if you have one, right? Make that as a tool to help them to do that. So California, the purpose is that recognize, establish the preschool, kindergarten, elementary, middle school who demonstrate progress toward proficiency speaking, listening, reading, and writing in one or more languages. And these purposes, I can pretty much talk about that early on. And in California, I have 3 official awards. This one particular thing, and I think Nebraska can probably look into that. The participation recognition, we'll talk about that. The attainment award we mentioned earlier. The one very unique California we established is called home language development recognition. So I'm Chinese, well, Our kids go to Saturday program, whether they like it or not. They have to suffer the Saturday in the Chinese school. We send our kids to do that, and I believe I believe Persian do that too. A different language do that. So if you have those programs, we call heritage program. On weekend they learn the heritage language. Arabic, I believe a lot of Arabic parents do the same thing. That's a place you can look into that, build that pathway of war, and they can be the feeder for your high school program. If you have a high school program, that's the ideal feeders. We also look for like Catholic school summer program to teach kids Spanish in the summer. That might be another good place to look into that. And our pathway recognition, this is a logistic because people say, hey, you talk about the benefit for being, have this pathway, what does that mean? In California, and even it's not a law, LEA have to submit the online form, which is very easy to do. And the people who call me earlier from California, you can do that yourself. You submit the form to the state and the name, this is the information they request you to do. Once you have that, the state will give you the celebration. This a recognition that state give you that you can give to your kids. And these are more detailed information. If you need the slide, I think you can watch the PowerPoint. I don't need to go in detail, but the whole spirit is that really helping the students receive the seal of Biliteracy, and the school can do that easily. Okay, I want to show you some pictures. These are fun part. These are the medal we give out every year. In the last, from the very beginning, we give out the medal. That's how we get involved with the whole movement at the beginning. People want the medal, they want to celebrate, and we give this medal. We give out this medal totally free every year, and we even pay the shipping for you. But this year we might do something different because this is too crazy. We give out 5,000 medal every year. In the past, I remember when we started this, we can never run out 5,000. Right now, if I announce we give out medal last year, within 2 days, all 5,000 medal are gone. So we are thinking about different strategy this year. Instead of giving out free medal, we probably want to prioritize for the school need a medal the most, not just give out everyone, right? So that's just something we're doing differently this year. But Chicago does the Seal of Biliteracy Award, which I'll show you. They have a high school graduation. They also have a pathway award. So this is the pathway award they give out. I believe this is about 4 years ago. You can see the younger kids who got the medal, and you have the state, the district people go there to give out the medal. And you see how many. This is a high school one, so they have different medal. You see the elementary medal, the earlier one. It's different than the official one, which we give away this high school graduation. These are more official one. Yeah, if you apply the medal, we ask you not to give as a pathway, but more of a high school graduation, because it's more recognizable. So the Chicago Public School, you see the whole auditorium, they receive the Seal of Biliteracy medal. We have to celebrate that, and this is a celebration they have in Chicago. And this is the part we want to talk about the trend too. This is the picture from Chicago, right? But you see how proud, the student who received the Seal of Biliteracy always want to get the parents involved. This is a celebration. And I'll share my one of the key things for the Seal of Biliteracy movement. And then I recognize the power of being this, that, especially for a lot of Latino families, Spanish-speaking parents, they feel that connection. Very often, they speak Spanish, kids speak Spanish and English sometimes. And a lot of parents feel this is something I can give to my kids, my heritage, my culture, right? And through this connection, we see the parents so proud. I remember the first time I went to Baldwin Park, Seal of Biliteracy recognition, I see the parents crying, that's something I can give to my kids, my connection. Very often, high school kids don't want to talk to parents anymore, right? But through the celebration, we saw those connections. I remember years ago, we saw in California, because they don't have the bilingual education for a long time, and the kids cannot say anything to the grandparents because the grandparents only speak Spanish, kids only speak English. But through the Seal of Biliteracy movement, the kids pick out their Spanish skill. They can communicate not just the parents, the grandparents with family. That's very powerful. And I really hope the school, teacher, district recognize that, use that as a tool to connect with your community, a power being bilingual. And this allows students to go to the local media. I can tell the story like Georgia I mentioned earlier, Utah, being a lot more than it's important for them to have more bilingual students, right? Multilingual students. And I share a story with you, the family engagement part on the seal of Biliteracy. I went to the seal of Biliteracy. This is a high school graduation ceremony, right? And in state of New Mexico, when they receive the seal of Biliteracy, they have one additional way to get the seal of Biliteracy besides the traditional assessment. They can do a portfolio approach. What does that mean here? Students can prepare the portfolio, prepare what they do in the past years, in reading, writing, sample, and speaking, listening. So they go to the panel. The panel consists of local community members who speak the language. In the state of New Mexico, besides Spanish, they have quite a few Native American languages speak there. So they don't have official assessment for those Native American language, right? So they have this portfolio approach. The portfolio approach is that students prepare this portfolio, demonstrate they can speak, listen, read, write in 2 languages. And they invite the panel from local community, local bankers. They find even bakery. I remember I went to the local bakery owner, right? And they do the interview. And we have seen the banker offer the job, say, well, you are exactly people want to hire. Do you want to, we'd like to offer you a summer internship, right? Come to work for the bank because they need people to speak the language for the community, right? So they actually hire the student during that interview. After the interview, they become recruit the potential summer employee for this business. So that's actually a good way to engage with your family and the community on power being bilingual. And Washington, D.C. seal of Biliteracy, they require every student to volunteer. They have the big volunteer. This volunteering in local community. In DC, there's many places they can demonstrate the bilingualism. Even government entity like federal government, they can volunteer there, and that's one of the requirements they have there. Media outreach is critical, and I always share with you, especially if you're a worldly teacher, your principal will say, "Why want to do this?" If you can give up the seal of Biliteracy, you can get the media involved. I guarantee you, your principal will love to support you in the future because they love to get the exposure from the local community. They want to showcase what school we do for the community, right? So if you do the seal of Biliteracy celebration, please make sure you have local media, get the new TV, get the newspaper. If you need help on our website, we have media kits can help you share the very basic. We're not, a media company in that sense, but you can see other people how to reach out to local media, get in the interview. The simple lettering on our website, you can look into that. And trend 3, we said this. Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Chou, there is a question in the chat. Can students get the Spanish and Chinese, both languages, Biliteracy awards or Chou awards?
Yeah, so it really depends on state. Some state recognize, okay, the first thing here, this is a seal on the diploma, right? So the seal, state normally allow to put 1 seal on the diploma. So you only get 1 seal, but every state different policy. I'm not quite sure. Crystal can tell me what's the policy in Nebraska. I know California, you can have multiple language, but they'll still only give you 1 seal, unfortunately.
So I think
we have multiple, yes.
In Nebraska, they may get only 1 seal. However, they can be awarded for 2 different seals. In fact, in Omaha Public Schools, we add the seal of Biliteracy to the transcript, and we have had a few students that got a seal in Chinese and in French, so 2 seals, and we added both seals to their transcript. So when you see their transcript, you can see both seals.
That's wonderful. Yeah, we love, we love when they Omaha can share, because I know you're doing this program are very well known about the equity. I love to do more, learn more about what Omaha did, especially on the Orange program. I know you guys did a great job. Trend 3, and this is very critical, and this is a big incentive for our parent teacher. We got probably 30 calls a day. 20 calls are from parents, believe it or not. School don't call us as much as they used to. Occasionally teacher will call us. Lots of parents call us. And because of this thing, college credit. Right now, more and more state are reestablish this, including my state, we're working on that too. But there are quite a few state pass legislation, require the state college, not private college, right? Because like, private college, they can't. But state college will get the funding from the state, give out the college credit for the Biliteracy. I think in Nebraska, you have 2 levels, right? On the intermediate and the higher level, you'll get the college credit if you apply to university in the state of Illinois and Minnesota. Automatically, you get the college credit. That's huge incentive for parents, huge. And I see that actually changed a lot of Chinese parents' mind to make sure their kids got to see Biliteracy. I got a phone call. We got a phone call from so many different languages. They really want to make sure the kids got to see it because that's important to them. So more and more state will see Biliteracy. Even individual college are doing the same thing. I give you 2 examples here that just surprised me the most. Howard University, traditional African American university, right? Black university, what we call. And they want to give the student the Biliteracy. Why? And Princeton do the same thing. They are individual cases. So if you have kids that got a Biliteracy, tell them if you go to private school, talk to the school to see they will do that for you. And very often, university will say, yes, we'll give you college credit or they'll waive you. You don't have to take the foreign language requirement anymore. And there's one Cal State, not every Cal State campus has this boxes when you apply to the university, they're asking you, do you have the states California? They only write California Biliteracy. Because they give out extra credit, right? They give you extra point to apply to your university. So that's some big incentive for a lot of students to apply to Biliteracy. They see that checkbox, they don't know what it is, they start talking about that. So if you have the power to work with the university system, please make sure that happens, because that will make a lot of students understand the power of being with the Biliteracy. And our organization, Biliteracy.org, we're really working with more state to help them, more university to have a similar rule. Trend 4 is that we talk about conjugate of Biliteracy.
Yeah,
So
Arthur,
yeah.
Arthur, there's a question in the chat, I think.
Yes.
That's me.
Hi.
Yeah.
Julie.
Hi, sorry to interrupt you. So my son got the gold seal of biliteracy. He's a senior here in Nebraska.
Yeah.
And so he got the gold seal. He's in OPS, Omaha Public Schools, and he's going to swim in Missouri. And so I called the Missouri seal of biliteracy. They were all great. He would be high distinction there because he got a 5 on his AP Spanish and a 5 on AP English. So they were great with the high distinction, but then the University of Missouri says they've never really heard of this seal of biliteracy. They can't, they're not going to give any credit whatsoever. Like if he went to a university in Nebraska, it would be about 16 credits, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Just that in this University of Missouri in Columbia doesn't seem to really know anything about it. Is there a way there seems to be a disconnect between the Department of Education in Missouri and then the Nebraska Department of Education really knows about it. The Missouri Department of Education knows about it, but it seems like this university just is giving nothing for it whatsoever.
Yeah, I understand. I know that. I actually know the professor. Actually, if you send me the name, I can probably connect you with the professor there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because the professor at the Columbia is actually one of the major person help us pass the Biliteracy in Missouri.
Really?
Yeah, if you, I will give you my email at the end. I will connect you with her, and she's.
Oh, that would be
I
great.
don't know what she can do. Again, she's just a professor, so I think.
Well, this is coming from the admissions office. They're like, we don't know. We don't ever give anything for seal of biliteracy. And I said, but your department, your language.
Yeah.
Department of Education awards this and honors this, and they're like, yeah, we don't do anything. I don't know. They seem to not really know anything about it.
What you say here is what's the spirit for the seal of biliteracy. This is grassroots movement. You making that phone call make the difference. They start getting aware of that, and then through the grassroots movement, we hopefully more university will give out college credit. And this is what we are working here for. grassroots movement, right? You start that inquiry, and then we trying to help to see we can make the connection, we can make the difference. So what you did is not only benefit your child, you benefit all other students down the road. And that's very critical.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that question. That's a really good question. And my job here, again, I'm a volunteer. I don't make any money out of this. It's a volunteer job. I have a day job too still. I still have a job and then you pay my house. But this is all volunteer. We volunteered for this movement. This is a grassroots movement to make the difference. And I thank you to make the difference here. Okay, and
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I'll move to the next thing here is the trend 4, college level CL literacy. The college level CL literacy in my state, California, San Diego State University, it's a state college. They started doing the global CL literacy, and that's why they call it. The recent change the name to something else. The whole idea here is they want to encourage students to keep the bilingualism, because we have the state CL literacy, but in the college level, they have more criteria. They actually have advanced low as a criteria for them to get the CL literacy and to celebrate those kids. And Texas Women University, they have something called Certificate of Biliteracy Bilingual Teacher. And this is a smart thing. And we all know we have a teacher shortage right now. So if you think about this, using the CL literacy, connect the CL literacy students in high school, create a college level CL literacy, and help them to become the teachers. So both San Diego State and Texas Women University, the goal here is create more opportunity for teachers to inspire to become bilingual teachers, right? You have 100,000 students, at least 100,000 students a year. They can be potentially become the bilingual, become the bilingual or world language teachers. You know, a special bilingual teacher with major shortage. This is a way we're trying to address that problem. So that's our trend 4. Trend 5. And this is something I'm very, very proud of, and I really want to do more of this, is we want to honor our Native American language. We all know that, especially younger generation, they don't really want to learn their heritage language. This is especially a problem in the tribe, in the reservation. Many of them left the reservation, they forgot the language, they forget the culture. And so if you stay, Nebraska doesn't have a lot of Native American, but the state like Oklahoma, the state like Oregon, Washington, if you have a large Native American population, we work with them. We really want them to have the CL literacy in Native American language. The challenge for that here is that in those states, because the sovereignty issue, a lot of tribes don't want to listen to the Department of Education. So they don't want to, any state published, the reservation don't want to have a part of it. So this is a part we need to work with them to explain to them what's the benefit, how we helping you to preserve the language and the culture in the community. And Oregon is one of the very good example that they did a great job. The tribe actually adopt the CL literacy from Oregon. I mean, the tribe doesn't give out, the tribe issue their own diploma, right? The diploma is not from Oregon Department of Education. It's from the tribal council, but they will actually adopt the state Department of Education CL literacy. That's very, very powerful. And the trend 6 is something, I mean, we have a website called doinginstitute.org. We really believe that if you want to do the CL literacy, do not wait until high school. The kids need to be bilingual from a very young age, from elementary, from preschool, right? We really want to encourage dual language program. If you still want to start dual language program, we start working with a lot of state, help them pass legislation on dual language school. Younger, give up money. Texas passed we call the HB3 last year. My state, California, we tried to pass legislation last year. We failed. We introduced the bill to help more schools start the range program. So there's something. This is grassroots movement. We see more and more states are doing that right now. Once you have a CL literacy, the next important thing here is that make it younger, right? You have pathway award, you have the range program. Students start learning language more, and we would love to see more language besides traditional Spanish, French, Chinese. We'd like to see more language, more during the program, like Somali language in Minnesota we mentioned earlier. It's important to help our English learner keep the heritage language and also language at the same time. These are the seal medal. I kind of mentioned that my day job, Last Express, sponsors the medal seal every year. You can buy the medal from California together. You can build your own seal medals. If you need a medal, let us know. We will help you to celebrate. Again, medals used for celebration. The Seal Biliteracy movement is about celebrate our multilingualism, celebrate the power we have. As the department, our secretary Kaduna say, no, bilingualism is a superpower. This is really a superpower in our community. We want to honor that. And so at the beginning for the presentation, we asked for a simple question here, right? Is the Seal Biliteracy assessment for language proficiency? Is the Seal Biliteracy is for world language student only? Is the Seal Biliteracy has similar requirement for every state? If the Seal Biliteracy student must apply the Seal Biliteracy from our website, sealbiliteracy.org. Of course, the answer all four are no, right? The Seal Biliteracy is a celebration. Assessment is only proof that your proficiency in 2 languages. But the key spirit is celebration of bilingualism. And Seal Biliteracy is for every student. We especially if you're a school teacher, really look into your heritage speaker to see they can do that. For Chinese students, this is very particularly important because many of them take Saturday school. They do learn Chinese on Saturday, and they can take the assessment test, get the state Seal Biliteracy, get a college credit. And many of them might even take a Chinese course because the reading and writing part is difficult. They can easily pass the speaking and listening part. Reading and writing is difficult, and that's the part they normally have problem with. Same thing with Spanish, same thing with French. Arabic have similar problem too. Okay, and of course, students apply the Seal Biliteracy, and every state have different law before you pass it, so the requirements is different all over the state, right? So every state have their own rule. And school apply the Seal Biliteracy with the district, with the state, not with us. And we got the phone call all the time, but we don't. We are only organization promote the movement. We don't award Seal Biliteracy. We sponsor the medal, but we don't award the Seal Biliteracy. And our website is sealbiliteracy.org. We have a Facebook page, Twitter. We'd love you to follow us. This is a grassroots movement. I said this many times. You are part of this movement, and we need your support to make the difference. Please help us spread the words for the power of being bilingual, why it's important to be bilingual, and we want more students, more community. We want the community to understand the power of being bilingual, right? We want the community to understand why it's important to be bilingual. So we need your help to spread that language, spread the message. And if you have any question I can answer, this is the end of my presentation.
So I'm posting a link shared by Dr. Dutton, I think. As a whole list of universities across the country that attach credit to the seal.
Wonderful.
There are 79 universities on the list.
Wow.
So if your kids want to go to a university and they have a seal, you can check whether the universities they apply offer free credit for the seal. A lot of universities actually do not initiate the conversation. It has to be students, because I have conversation with, Nebraska, 5 of the Nebraska universities or college. They said, okay, we do not, automatically offer credits. The students need to present the seal to registrar office to let the registrar office know that I got the seal. And I would, I am qualified for free credits on certain, conditions, because each university has different conditions that students need to meet, or offering credits on different conditions. So there should be a conversation that initiated by the students. so that the process can be, that the free credit can be processed.
So are there any other questions for Mr. Chou? Yes.
Hi, me again. It's Julie. Is there an email or something that I could get in touch with
Yeah.
you or for the University of Missouri?
Yeah.
Or can I put my email in the chat?
Julie, can you email me? My email is achou@academiclearningcompany.com. If you email me, I will connect you the professor there.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Your son is lucky to have you. You're a very huge advocate for him.
Well, and we are lucky to have you with OPS, Maria. Thank you very much. Yeah, they were able to present at the school board with the seal of biliteracy.
Yes.
So my husband teaches for Omaha Public Schools, so Maria.
Yes, and like it was 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, some of our students that received the seal of biliteracy were honored in the Board of Education. So it was, and we're trying to do that once a year since the Nebraska seal of biliteracy was approved. So far we've done it every year.
Yeah,
I think it was great, a recognition for it, and he thanked all of the dual language program that he's been in since kindergarten from OPS for that too.
wonderful.
That's
If you
great.
could, can you share the your celebration? I will love to share that with the community with you. Our Facebook has about 10,000 people follow. So Maria, if you want to share the celebration, Julie, send it to me. I would love to share that with the community.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Are we gonna be able to have access to the presentation, to like the PowerPoint that you had ready?
Yeah, I can send to you. This is a recording, so you can see the recording already.
Yes,
Believe
yes,
me,
I
right?
can.
Yeah, so all the presentations there, you can pause to see a lot of things I post that here. Any question you have, feel free to call me, email me. Very often I go to several conferences, NABE, ACFO. If you go to those conferences, La Cosecha, it's not the conference I go to. I'm always there. And the state probably know that. State people know we organize a state conference called twice a year. Chris don't know that well. That's coming up too. We support state to work out the difference. People always call us assuming we know everything. We don't. So people like Christo know a lot about every state's policy. So we bring them together, help each other out. And our spirit is always, this is grassroots movement, right? We help each other. That's how we make a difference. And
Dr. Liu,
yeah.
Do you know how many students have gotten the Nebraska seal of biliteracy so far?
It's can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I'm still doing the because our application form, our data pool has some problem right now. We're trying to fix it. But for now, from my previous records, is I think it's 409 students since we established this Nebraska seal. But I have to double check because there's something wrong with their data pool.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to say, I don't mean to take so much of the meeting, but about 20 years ago, I was at ACFL and I was part of like this group that was trying to establish the seal of biliteracy. So I feel like it's kind of come full circle that now I'm a Spanish teacher. And I think I feel like it's come full circle that now my son just got the seal of biliteracy. You know, like
that is so
I didn't have kids
awesome.
at that time. And I was trying to get it for Nebraska and working on that for years. And so it's so great. It's such an honor that he was able to get that too. So
yes.
Now we just have to write a story about how you experienced the whole process.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be great.
Yeah.
We'll share a little bit. What is the name of your Facebook group? Just out of curiosity.
We have a few Facebook group. We have Advocacy Seal Biliteracy. That's for advocate. So if you go to Seal Biliteracy Advocacy group, yeah, that's a group that we don't really post information. For example, we've been trying for years. That's the best act. That's giving the state funding to implement Seal Biliteracy, because very often state don't have the money to implement, right? So when we pass legislation, it's so zero budget. So we like to get some federal money to support state to do that. We've been trying that for 7 years now. Still working on that. We need your support. We need to call your legislator to actually support this legislation. So a lot of things we do is really grassroots, get your support so we can pass legislation for multilingualism.
I'm the representative for Nebraska for the National Network of Early Language Learning, NNL, we call it. But I think this would be great information for these teachers too. I had no idea that there was a preschool pathway.
Yes.
And you know, elementary with our dual language programs too.
Yeah,
Maybe we can work together to establish that in Nebraska.
Yeah, I would love to help with this. If anyone, let me know. Like, I'd love to be an advocate for this.
I really love to see Nebraska does a pathway too. I think that really, I mean, the more pathway we do it, we see more kids will take the high school courses. They want more advanced courses, right? So and more people will, and again, this is not just about language, it's about culture, right? It's about learning different culture together, and that's very important to us.
I have one more story, but I don't want to take too much time. But
sure.
My son's a swimmer, and they had Metro District swimmers this weekend, and they were cheering the Burke swimmers, which is not necessarily very Hispanic of a school, were just cheering and cheering, and I was like, this isn't even the Burke relay swimming, and they were at the end of the pool cheering. Well, it turns out that my son has friends at South from the dual language program, and South High is kind of our more Hispanic, like 90% Hispanic. So our swim team has adopted their swim team. They cheer for each other. My son won this award, and the South High kids were jumping up and down from the other high school. And traditionally, high schools do not cheer for each other. It was so cool to see this weekend. It was really, really neat. I've never seen that before at a swim meet. And I really credit the dual language program, honestly, for that, because I don't think he would have reached out for the, you know, like I actually said to some of the South High students, I said, well, thanks, you know, for adopting my son. And they said, no, he adopted us, like they adopted us. And the two of them, like these two teams have been working together in the last few meets. And I think there's things like that happen that you don't even think about with the, you know, not even just SELA biliteracy, but with these language programs starting at an early age.
I think this is
strong stories. You need to share with more people.
I feel like OPS needs to get these stories out, because we hear a lot of bad news and not necessarily enough of the good news that's happening.
I post social media for sealbiliteracy.org, also duallanguage.org, and the OPS always pop out my feeders. So every time I have the story, I will share. And this is, I mean, because we search the good story, we share with the community. So I do admire what you guys did in Omaha. It's always very positive. I really appreciate what you did for the kids.
Hashtag OPS proud.
if like we have the biliteracy reward the ceremony, I can post over there also.
Yeah, definitely. Please, if you have anything you want me to share with the community, we have 10,000 strong. We also send a newsletter. We have about 20,000 people on a newsletter. So if you want to send the information you want to share with the community, we will share that for you. And again, our spirit is always, we celebrate together. You have good news, we love to celebrate with you. If you go to our Facebook page, you see all the different kids, you know, celebrate together. We post a picture on the Facebook page, like the picture you see on. If you see this one, I don't know, you see the picture I have and I'll probably close it. I stopped sharing that. This is Colorado World Language Group. You probably know Tony there. If you are in the World Language Group, you probably know her well. And everyone getting together to celebrate bilingualism. And that's what we're doing. We advocate multilingualism for America. And So
Thank
to
you.
really answer the question, the future of bilingualism is we all, every one of us are the future, because we are the one making the difference here.
Yes.
Like the kids doing not by literature, if for the some cultural things they translate like they write down English then translate it to Chinese or Spanish, also you can post the things over there.
Yeah, if you want to, I can. The FCC advisory group is a smaller group. It's only 1,000 people. You can always post that yourself. If you join, you can always post yourself. We don't really, unless it's something really bad, we don't really. You can promote whatever you wanted to do over there. On the CLBiology.org, if it's something really CLBiology, we'll share that for you. Yeah, no
Yeah,
problem.
I have a certain picture for our school district. I'm in the PUSD, the school district. We have the field and the Sarah Madre and the PHS is for Chinese program.
Yeah,
We have other school for the elementary and the middle school and the Spanish and the French also.
do you have my email by any chance, Ivy?
No.
Let me type in here so I can type in here.
Yeah, I feel like maybe if you can type your email in the chat because everyone wants it.
Let me see. I can type. Oh god, the screen just.
Yeah, I can just copy and
You want
paste.
me to
I
type
Can you
have
do
your
your
that for
email?
me?
Yeah, I will do it. Yeah.
ACHO@themillenniumcompany.com. And I would love to share the story. That's important, and especially I want to share more than just Spanish, because more often, I'm honest with you, I share 90% all Spanish. I love to see minority language, Arabic, Chinese, because more often I share just Spanish and French. That's the two most common thing we share. But we want to celebrate all languages, and that's
Yeah.
important to us.
Yeah, I before ask the question for the Spanish Chinese, because our school have some and the Hispanic the family, they come into the Chinese, the both languages is strong, but they only go the Chinese and the dual language all the way. So I
Yeah.
just ask is have any test or wherever how to get the both and the by literature.
Yeah, sure. If you send me that information, I'll definitely share that for you. And I know Omaha has a lot of language, right? Besides Spanish, you have other language, am I correct?
Well, in Omaha Public Schools, we have 108 languages spoken within our students. The reality, like you're saying, the students that are getting more awards are for Spanish, like you said. So something that we need to work on is how to reach out the students that especially like from Myanmar, like languages that are minority Karenese, Somali, and all those, how to promote for them to apply for the seal of biliteracy. I think the fact that there is no testing for it kind of deters some students from doing it, even though we have told them that they can show a portfolio. That means that now they have to work in a different space to put together the portfolio. And also like we don't have samples and to see what they can submit. So that's something that we need to work on for those students.
Yeah, Kristen and Maria, if you need help, I can, because we do have database from other state. At Somali, I can help you find an assessment. So this assessment for that, yeah. Arabic, this, even Vietnamese, I don't you have any Vietnamese there or different language? There's assessment for those.
What about Karen?
Yeah, the oral language might be difficult. If it's just pure oral language, it's really like this indigenous language is always challenged, right? Probably do better with portfolio approach because it just doesn't have a standard. Some of the languages have a standard.
Do you have like samples of portfolios?
Yeah, it's on our website. You can see some, not sample, but videos, right? But I can connect with other school district, like Albuquerque High School District. They're big in portfolio. Okay. And so they have the portfolio approach. Some state, district, they think the syllabus is too low. They only want intermediate mid. So on the dual language program, they have more, like they put advanced low. So they give out dual language syllabus because they want the kids to have advanced low proficiency level. So I mean, they use portfolio approach to do that.
Mhm. And then as a district, like looking at myself, I need to do a better job reaching our EL students that are in the EL classrooms.
Thank you.
Because the world languages classrooms that I'm okay, is the other classrooms that the ones that I need to reach more.
I recommend you reach out to your, I don't know, you have any of the Chinese teacher, a Chinese student association, the family, they all go to Saturday school. They might have an organization there. They go to this, they have a program, they go to Saturday to learn Chinese there. And that's a good way to approach them to see, these are potential students who probably want to take Chinese school program in high school and to get a syllabus.
Yeah, and also another group that we always neglect is homeschool.
Yeah, homeschool is a big one.
Yeah, homeschool kids, because they are not connected to public school, and you know, they have their own organization, they have their own, you know, they say co-ops, right? So they work together, their teachers work together, they are kind of out of our connection, you know, community, but a lot of kids are qualified.
They have a test.
Yeah. The a lot of assessment right now are open to everyone, right? It's the assessment like AP tests or for AP course, but like the Apple tests or Stanford, those are all you can take the test yourself. Although if you go through the school, the price will be a lot less. It's about $20-ish, right? Depends on how many people take the test. Individual might be more expensive, but the test is definitely available everywhere.
Oh yeah, our school haven't the Apple and the test, but for the high school, I didn't hear anything about the Apple test.
Oh, okay. Apple tests definitely have Chinese, and they have both simplified traditional. Stanford's not an option, or like AP test or IB. That's not a thing you can do if this IB school. AP Chinese, if they say AP Chinese, the past California is 3 or about, which is low, and they can get the syllabus if I'm state of California.
If kids go to the university like the PCC to get the level 5 done, that is like need another test, or that one is also can use it.
Community college, is that what you're saying? That really depends. Yeah, that really decided by individual community college. Again, California doesn't have a law on that yet. Only in the state of Illinois and Minnesota and several states have the law that the state college have to give out credit. But it really depends on the California don't have that yet. We're working on that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, I really want to thank everyone stay with me today. And I really appreciate you being part of this exciting grassroots movement to make American bilingual, you know, a multilingual, multicultural, that's what we believe. And we thank you for your support, and you open the door for, not just for your own kids, you open the door for the future kids in your community. That's powerful. And I thank you for that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. So
Thank
Chris,
you.
I think that's the end of today's presentation, right?
Yeah. And